Action.
I'm just waiting on.
Oh, sorry.
I'm good.
And
No, hold on, I'm not good. Hold on.
3, 2, 7.
1, 2, 5, 7. You ready?
Yep.
1, 3, 5, 7.
Hello, internets.
1, 3, 5, 7.
Yo, what's happening, internets?
You can either be a good little boy, or you can sin, or in this case.
Oh, you're just going straight into it. I was gonna say.
I let you do your thing. This is something I was trying.
I didn't even start my thing. I just said hello. I was gonna say check out our episode of Phoenician Scheme, the last episode. Subscribe, like, share, and then we're supposed to do a little bit of banter.
3, 2, 1, 5, 7.
Hey, internets, how's it going today?
Or how's it going to be going tonight as we discuss sinners? He thought that was too fast. I don't care.
Make sure to check out our episode about the Phoenician Scheme. Subscribe, like, share.
You can do those things. All right, so now we're ready. All right, I'm ready now. All right, here we go. I know where we're at. I got our tempo. Let's go.
All right, 1, 3, 5, 7. Hello, internets. How's it going?
1, 3, 5, 7.
Hey
Hello,
there,
internets.
internets. How's it going today?
How's it going tonight? He's bright. I'm dark. And tonight we start the conversation about sinners.
But before that, check out our review of the Phoenician Scheme.
Last week, me, Dominic, and Dirt and Godfrey tell you about the latest from Wes Anderson.
What?
Is it more so Royal
You got a
Tenenbaums?
piece of popcorn on your lip.
You let me go through the whole fuck.
It's still there.
Where is it at?
It's right here.
It's my mouth.
No, it's all. If it was in your mouth, it wouldn't be a problem. Yep.
All right. 1, 3, 5, 7.
Hello,
Hello,
internets.
internets.
What is up?
What is down?
Before we.
Oh, now I know what you're doing now. I got you. All right. 1, 3, 5, 7. What?
Hello,
the-
internets.
1, 3, 5, 7.
What's up, internets?
Hello.
I don't know what I'm doing now. You fucked me all up. Okay, we're supposed to go remind people to watch the
But you're
Phoenician.
going into it so fast.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
What the F is up, internets?
Hey,
Hello.
it's Mr. Royal.
I'm-
Konnichiwa. You're Dirk Godfrey.
Yep.
and
Thank you for speaking.
I'm-
You already introduced yourself, Royal. That's Royal.
And that's how we come back in, smoking stack. Because tonight, guess what? This is that. And we're discussing sinners. But before that, what did we discuss last week?
The Phoenician Scheme.
Wes Anderson. Loved it.
Yeah, checkers, like a checkerboard over here.
Yeah, I like it. But something about Scarlett Johansson you didn't like?
Yeah, we'll go watch the episode after you watch this episode to figure out what I didn't like about Scarlett Johansson. One of the very few things that I did not like about Scarlett Johansson. Also, be sure to
I see
subscribe.
what you did there. Scarlett Johanssoners.
Oh.
And here we
Yeah,
go.
yeah, I did do that. I totally did that.
That's how you do it. High five. Right. Yeah, boom. No, I'll take a slice.
That's the fucking trailer. Hold on tight. Breaking movies in black and white. One's got notes, the other's a riot. Strap in, folks, we won't be quiet.
Tell people what the movie is about. The elevator pitch, real quick.
Elevator pitch for the movie Sinners. Again, this is another collaboration between Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan. And in the lore of this film, it's actually something that's never been done before. It's an independent story, so it's not a part of any lore that's in the mainstream. And they have certain lores of vampire, certain lore of voodoo, certain lore of Irish lore as well. So there's a lot of different...
Don't forget the engines.
Yes. Oh, I was going to get there. Thank you. Because again, that's where it truly all started. And ironically, it's crazy. We're taught in school with the Caucasian white man discovering America and then what they did to the Indians. And I just found it very cool that at the beginning of this movie, it's the reverse. They're chasing him. And they even try to warn the other people that look just like him, hey, don't let this person in. So it was never really a color barrier thing. It was just like good people trying to help people, but whatever. So anyway, this story, for me to say what it's about would be unfair because you should take your own journey and let it take you where it needs to take you.
The release date, April 18th, 2025. Written, directed, and produced by Ryan Coogler. His previous films are both Black Panthers, Creed, and his first film, Fruitvale Station. He has a film in development right now with, surprise, surprise, Michael B. Jordan. Stop reading my shit. That movie is called Wrong Answer. This movie, Sinners, was shot by Autumn Durald Arkapaw. She shot 6 episodes of Loki as well as Wakanda Forever. It stars Michael B. Jordan and Michael B. Jordan as Smoke and Stack. He got his start on TV in Cosby and The Sopranos in 1999. He played Jamal in 2001's Hardball with Keanu Reeves. 13 episodes of The Wire.
Named character named Michael.
59 episodes of All My Children. Did you know this?
Yes, I did.
That's crazy.
I know
Angela
what
and
the
I got to
competition
know
is.
him in the TV series Parenthood. He was also in Fruitvale Station, Fantastic Four, the 2015 one, Creed 1, 2, and 3, Black Panther and Wakanda Forever, Just Mercy, Without Remorse. And he was in a film in 2021 that Denzel Washington made called A Journal for Jordan. Haley Steinfeld as Mary. She was in True Grit, Ender's Game, which we covered.
Loved it. I made you watch that one.
Yes, it was he made me do it. Pitch Perfect 2 and 3, Bumblebee, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and Across the Spider-Verse. The Marvels,
No one made us watch that.
Miles Catan, I'm going to say. Miles Caton.
Why are you asking me?
Because
It's Catan.
no reason. As is Catan?
It is.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Okay. Miles Catan
No,
as
Catan.
Miles Catan as
No.
Miles Catan as Sammy. This is actually his first film. He was discovered by a location scout for Sinners who saw him performing on the street for tips. And of course, Delroy Lindo, who is in Gone in 60 Seconds, Malcolm X, Romeo Must Die, and Get Shorty. Before we get into the film, we have some connections, don't we?
We do. You said you start off with yours.
Okay. These are not necessarily mine. These are just from my research that I
So
did.
humble
Yeah. Well, actually, this first one is mine. When I was watching it,
Did I set it up?
I'm not humble. Whenever accuse
you
me of being humble.
Oh my gosh.
I was getting a From Dusk Till Dawn vibe, though. I've like as the movie progressed, I was like, I feel like I've seen this play out before. It was From Dusk Till Dawn, and then when I was doing my research on it, it was confirmed. Coogler mentioned From Dusk Till Dawn as one of the two biggest influences for the film. The other was The Faculty, which was another Robert Rodriguez movie.
One of mine, if we can go back and forth, was
Yumi.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, definitely cartoon. Let's see what you did there. It was it's a loose connection, but as far as him and his brother being two different people on two different sides of how they were still brothers, but it was how they did things is no different than him and rest in peace Chadwick Boseman and Black Panther. Two different powerful people doing things in different ways, different vision how they're going to do it.
Yeah,
But
the yin
in
yang.
this case, they were working together.
Yeah, there was a theory that I don't. I'm gonna fuck it all up, but it was pretty much talking about how the twins were one soul. There were two sides of one soul. One, whatever the one couldn't do, the other could do, and
I can
vice
see
versa. It was illustrated in the fact that he was always getting cigarettes from his brother.
But
When
the
his-
other one had to roll it up because he had
yes,
tremors from PTSD.
which is why he would smoke out of a pipe when the brother wasn't there because he couldn't roll his own cigarettes.
100% correct.
Sammy's baptism when Remick, right?
Yeah, that's right. Correct.
When
correct.
he is dousing him in the water, which I'll get to in my facts. But when he's dunking him in the water, it gave me a Last Dragon feel. Like I felt like he was gonna come out and get asked who's the master.
Well, it's funny you say that last line because I got more of a either Roots or some type of film where they're like a slave waterboarding feel. You know what I'm saying? I kind of got. I mean, not to just lay into that, but it was just more so of a with them being in the water like that and pushing them down, like wade in the water. You know,
Mhm.
but us not being able to swim, being thrown overboard, I kind of got that feel to it too.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any other connections?
Yes, I do. And again, I think this is a forward connection. This is not something that should be hidden. I don't think it should be overlooked. I know I joke about it a lot, but I don't think it should be overlooked what is going on with Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler, as they say, Scorsese and De Niro, or Scorsese and Pesci, or these
DiCaprio.
DiCaprio, correct? Yes, 100%. Yes.
Eddie Murphy and Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, correct. Quentin Tarantino and Quentin Tarantino, or Quentin Tarantino and Samuel L. Jackson, but. I don't think it should be underscored with them to be so young, what they're doing and how they're doing it. And then like, it just really does work. And for them to be able to step outside of the Marvel machine, because you see people go into the Marvel machine and make money and make movies, but most of them never come back out. So for him to be able to be independent, get good, win awards, then get into that universe and still say, I can keep my own identity, still make my own thing and make my own individual. I think he's getting best sides of both worlds, and I don't think that should be underrated with what they're doing. That's connection there, just them two together.
The Coogler Jordan connection.
Yeah.
That's a good segue into some facts. I have 3 with some sub facts. The first one I titled "Hanging with Mr. Coogler." Hanging with Mr. Coogler. This is the first original screenplay in over a decade since 2013's Fruitvale Station for Ryan Coogler. He wrote the first draft in secret during the 2020 lockdown. He secured industry shift-in rights, including final cut, upfront gross participation, and full ownership reverting back to him after 25 years. Coogler refused to do a director. This is some you share right here. He refused to do a director's commentary, stating that the film is the commentary.
I don't see where you're wrong at.
Yeah, piece of headphone on your ear. Left ear. Work with what you got. Production faced real flooding in Louisiana, and instead of delaying the shoot, Coogler decided to rewrite several. I'm good.
Just asking.
This is what I was talking about with the flood. Like, that wasn't originally in the script, or he's like getting doused into the water at the end, and the whole baptism element of it. There was real flooding that happened in Louisiana, so instead of delaying the shoot, he rewrote several scenes to include water as a symbolic element. And this is my favorite fact. Metallica. Ryan Coogler credited the inspiration of the film's tone to Metallica's song One, how it begins in like an easy listening type of rock song and then transforms into a batshit crazy ballad. Lars Ulrich, the drummer for Metallica, is actually credited for contributing drums to the film's orchestra score.
You're just touching the surface with everything you said. I do believe it to be correct, but I think you're just touching the surface that music is truly the driving force through this whole film, but we'll get to that.
I'll circle back to connections real quick with Metallica and Lars Ulrich being a part of this. Metallica was actually a part of a lawsuit in the 90s because some kids that were Metallica fans took a boy out into the woods and murdered him, and they claimed that it was because of a Metallica album, which is not so different than how music is used in this movie to conjure evil things.
I read a book where a bunch of Romans took a bunch of
you got
man
a piece of,
and put him on
you got
the
another
cross.
fucking piece of popcorn on the same plate, and now it's in your beard.
I'm doing so
Just
good,
stop
bro.
eating it, man.
I'm done.
All right, hear me out. I have one. This is very obvious that the vampires are they are a
According to who? Because your wife. I mean, I'm not going to say when we spoke with her, but she was reluctant. She said she loved vampires, but that's not what she saw in this film. Is that how you feel?
I just didn't see that. No one, just because I know it's Ryan Coogler, there's going to be some kind of like a message underlying something symbolic. The vampires were symbolic for cultural exploiters. The vampires symbolize those who like they came because of the music and they wanted him because of the music. It's just like record labels, white musicians, church, state exploiting black creativity for their own advances. That's why they're like literal vampires. And they even said in there they don't feed off blood, they feed off the song.
I'll just ask this now before we get into the other parts of this episode. So you feel that they're the monsters?
It was weird how I'll give it to like the complexity of the writing, how they played it, because there was actual like one or two times where I was like, dude, just go get bit. It's clearly looking better on the other side. They're not racist. I mean, they're very progressive for being in the 30s.
Fair enough.
Like, you saw them all
progressive,
dancing out there?
Yes. That is funny. That is funny. He was not wrong. I've seen vampires before, and if you want to rank them, I mean,
They were very progressive vampires. All are welcome. We don't
they
care.
brought an Asian in.
Yeah, there's everybody out
It
there.
was, it was everybody. Yeah, no, that is true. I concur.
But yeah, so the complexity of them was interesting. But at the end of the day, I think like at the baseline, they were a metaphor for like literal vampires that feed off of Black culture. Like that's just that purely comes from like
Are we in Hear Me Out?
Ryan Coogler's work. Yeah.
Oh.
Have you not been hearing me?
No, I heard. I know I heard everything you said. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't know if we were coming up to it or you were already in it. Because no, everything you're saying is correct.
Well, what do you have to say about it as a black man?
Well, no, I won't speak on this as a black man. What I'll do is speak on this as a lover of film and a watcher of stories. And I'll say this.
And you sound just like what's her name, Beatrice, whoever played the half white. You sound just like her when they. What are you? I'm human.
You've acted like you've not seen this version of me on this show before.
Yeah.
I've evolved.
Okay.
I'm like Smart Hulk. I'm like
I've evolved, said the man who just wiped popcorn off his lip.
that was my gasoline to my engine. No, what I was going to say is that the beautiful part, and really quick, the beautiful part of art is being able to see things in different layers. So with this film, you have the hype for the film. Boom, you go watch it. You're expecting something so much. Then you have people going in like, oh, this is what the film's really about. Boom. But I think somewhere in between there, there's a happy medium to say that if you really look at this film from a perspective of this, the vampires were not the monsters in the film. This is not some, and I'm not going to preface this with anything. I'm just going to go into it. The vampires were not the monsters in this film. If you truly watch what happened and then realize that the vampires are really like the appetizer to, it's almost like if vampires are your appetizers, who are the real monsters? And I think we ask ourselves that question, and you go back, because what really confirmed it for me, I was like, why would they have this scene at the end? Because to a lot of people, it felt like out of nowhere, Michael B. Jordan's characters out of nowhere just start killing a bunch of white people in the movie. I mean, I'm all for reparations.
That's
and
what
all.
I'm saying. The
But
vampires were progressive. Then
they
the
were,
real, and
because they said that one line, which was, if you think I'm hateful, I've read their hearts. And so that's when I had to go back and rewatch and re-examine the movie and understand this. The true monsters in the film were the clan, because that guy that sold him the place in the beginning, he truly only meant to sell him that place, but the vampire told him they're coming back in the morning to kill you. So if that the crazy part about it, the people that they told us were the monsters, the vampires, told him, like, listen, if you're really trying to choose sides here, we're, like you say, we're not that bad. To your point, we're progressive. I've read their hearts. They're going, if you make it through the night,
I think
they're going to be here in the morning.
There were just two different kinds of monsters. Like the vampires were
True.
implicit monsters, and then that they just wanted to suck them dry for what they had.
That would be true if one line wasn't spoken. And then the director said this in the film, and he's specifically put it in there. He says he had, I don't know if it's whether it's Stack or Smoke that says, he was like, they rather deal with the devil they know. They knew the devil of racism, this, that, and the other, all this other lore about faints and all that. Remember, this old lady was like, how you know I ain't put every hex bag on you and every prayer? He didn't believe in that. He chose to deal with the devil he knew. And that's what this film is showing you. Even if those vampires never showed up, in the morning, those people were coming back to, after they just paid them for this land, those other people were coming back to kill them.
Yeah, they were.
And if the vampires didn't show up and tell them, well, would have been 20 minutes long.
If the vampires didn't show up and crash the party, it would have been a bloodbath in the morning.
So when you watch it from that perspective, like, oh shit, sometimes evil begets evil.
There's just different levels of monsters.
That I agree with that.
Yeah.
So when you talk about sinners,
it's clear what the movie believes the real monsters are. By the way, like you saw, there was like a patience with the vampires. Between Michael B. Jordan and the vampires, there was a patience there.
But there was no.
He was waiting in the bushes with multiple guns to ambush them with glee,
and he had no patience with the black people either. Remember we went into town.
Yeah.
So, but that's what I'm saying. My whole point is that if you truly look at this, there was sin in everything that was really going on in that film, like from premarital sex to people cheating on their wives to the movie had a tone of sin. So that's what I think. We have to look at that everybody in this movie to a certain extent is a sinner. Yeah,
I read somewhere that the main characters they each have one of the 7 sins without it being like too obvious.
Well, don't tell me that I've heard that before.
All right, highlights, favorite scenes, favorite lines.
I mean, let's just jump right into it. I don't think it can be misconstrued, looked at any way. That scene with the dancing scene.
Oh, hold on, that's like in the middle of the movie. Before you get to that, I just wanted that you're jumping like straight to the middle. He asked
me my favorite scene. He didn't say from the beginning. Angela, help me out here.
I did. But mine's a little bit before that. Let's take them one step at a time.
Okay,
I like
chronologically.
the right at the very beginning, the cigarette passing, like the showing off of like, hey, you know that Michael B. Jordan is playing both of these people, but we're gonna break that wall. Like the first time you see them, they're just showing off. Like to have the smoke billow from one of them to the other, and to pass the cigarette back and forth.
I read that took 3 weeks, and not only that, it wasn't just like you remember you mentioned earlier when the interview we were doing about layering. It was visual layering. They did one shot with no one there. That's the easy way to do it. We know how to do that. But then they did it with a stand-in. Then they did it opposite with him actually there. Mm-hmm. They layered all.
But he had to like you would think because it's Hollywood, they have an easy way of doing it, of just making it work easily.
No,
they had to like actually figure out, and get it exactly right. Like this is the point in the frame where you handed him the cigarette.
Right.
If he doesn't grab it from exactly
Correct.
there, and it's not like Michael B. Jordan just like threw off a coat and put on another coat. This is like Hollywood film. So he went to a trailer. He was in probably makeup for 2-3 hours,
Mhm.
and then he comes back out and then has to remember the exact beats. Not to mention, you're rolling a cigarette, you're lighting it in the true Louisiana wind, and you have to do all this
the
and hit the
exchange
same
was
beats.
the double though. The double. I guarantee like this the exchange because I do know this. It took two different departments. The film department did one thing, but I do know the people who the prop people. They were getting frame by frame rate where the pass is at to make sure every time because they didn't get it in one take, so they had to get frame by frame. So whenever they passed it, it had to be the exact length each time. So you got to think they got probably 120 lucky strikes back there.
This is why Michael B. Jordan keeps getting roles because I read about the making of that scene, and it was. I'm sorry, but this made me want to work with him as a director. Like they were out there in the Louisiana heat in like the humidity. He's in a wool suit for hours and hours and hours, chain smoking multiple cigarettes with no filter, having to hit these stupid little marks for something that you by the end of the day you can't envision this. And he was quoted as saying like, there's no point in complaining here. Complaining isn't going to get anything done. Being bit by bugs and everything else for that amount of time in the heat
I'm not gonna
alone,
lie,
I'm done.
That has to take a lot of mental fortitude. Would you agree? I would agree, right?
Yeah.
I had to kill my daughter and you wrote it. Don't you ever say anything like that to me again.
I just thought it was a very impressive scene by a respectable actor.
To do what one of me can do. And let's go ahead and say that right now. And again, it's a friendly sparring session here. Michael, Royal. It's not a competition.
I like the mix of music too, but before we get to that, shit, I don't even know. Maybe you could help me out with this one. I just put a note, fuck your wife too. Mika would have known.
I'm not going to know what that is, but I will. Since you're there, I don't know if you got to it. I just know this. Listen, I was 50-50 on this scene. The teen boy in me was like, hey, listen, if I've only seen and heard, this is the 30s and the 40s, man. If I only seen, this is still TTFT, right?
Yeah.
If I only seen and heard about pussy before, and I know this is the first time I done got around some pussy, you think I give a fuck about if you got to go wash up real quick? Like I don't. That's the teen boy in me.
Yeah, he's
the
like,
teen, not the grown man.
I went on. I walked here.
I've been walking all my life.
I want to see what you taste like. That was kind of. They did get kind of free. That
came out of nowhere.
That was a learning experience for me because I thought only white people were that freaky. Like to get spit in your mouth. I thought that was a white person
That's
thing
what you
to
took
do.
from that. You didn't.
Yes.
She said I need to go freshen up first. He was like, nah.
Like not us. Not me and my wife.
No, who
but I'm
said
talking
that?
about
Nobody's saying
white
anything.
people do
What are you
weird
talking
shit like
about?
spit in each
Now
other's
you made
mouths.
it
Have you
weird.
ever had a woman spit in your mouth?
No.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I haven't either, but white people have.
We're from the 80s. That's some late 90s shit, man.
That's what how these kids that come up through COVID gonna be spitting.
Oh, they're gonna be doing worse than
I
that.
got the line here. Thanks to Angela. She said, Cornbread says I ain't got time for one of
What
your.
the fuck? Oh, no, brother.
What?
Who the fuck is Cornbread? You think
Cornbread.
you're gonna slide this shit in here? No.
Cornbread is the big dude.
He was like the bouncer.
Yeah, the bouncer.
I thought you said somebody had rolled in. I'm sorry.
I ain't got time for one of your schemes, Stack. I'm behind on my quota. Stack says, man, fuck your quota. Cornbread says, Stack, this is my wife. He goes, introduce her. Yeah, well, fuck your wife, too. That's it really is anticlimactic. I just thought it was very funny in the moment. The way this was in the first 30 minutes of the movie when they were really setting up like the differences in Stack and Smoke's personality.
Glad you brought that up. And not even just in their personality, in their dress code. If you notice the type of hats that they wore, one wore Chicago's fedora, and one wore more of an Irish thing because they both worked. If you read up on it, from two different street gangs or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why their walk was there. Even their walk was different. So, like to your point, like I said, nobody can take anything from Michael B. Jordan from this. I think
as much as you try.
No. Because again, only thing I can liken it to is what Eddie Murphy does with all his characters, or what our guy did with Split. Our guy James McAvoy playing all those characters. Like that's not easy to do, and I aspire to do that one day. And I don't know anybody else other than you that can write that for me. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks.
I mean, before you die, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I think one of the like, and this is why I say keeping it culturally accurate, which I really love, is the scene with our guy from he's played in a couple of different movies, but it's the scene where the big bouncer guy, tries to come back in, and
Cornbread.
Cornbread, damn, figment of my own imagination. So yes, Cornbread tries to come back in, and the girl says, "You done been in out here, you done been in and out of here all day. You know, you big enough to knock anyone else over." Well, that wouldn't be nice, Miss Annie. Like, and to me, every person, that was like a moment like, why are you acting like that? Why are you doing this? And why can I at least just get paid? And then when he's like, to me, and that's why I say where patience is important at, because at this point, a lot of stuff is happening. They're trying to keep you up with the lore. But when he asks for the money and Delroy says, "Don't do it. Don't do it." And that's what happened when they be like, "Listen to your elders." He didn't. So he gives them the money. He pulls them out, and thank goodness that Smoke was ready.
Money is the root of all evil.
I see. There you go again. 100%. There you go again, man. And so, and again, don't get me wrong. If you really look at it, and hear me out real quick. I know we're in the highlights, but I want to highlight this and say this. And again, I don't know if anybody's made this comparison, and I just want to hear yours on it right now. Joker 2 got so much flack for being a musical, but this film right here has so many musical elements to it, and it's getting praised. What is your reaction to something like that? Or do you think it has no correlation?
All right, I haven't watched Joker 2 yet, so I don't.
That says all I need to know.
I've tried to. I was very disappointed. Yeah, but the music in this was awesome.
You told me you loved it before the not
yeah. I love the idea of it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
To get to the scene that you were talking about earlier, there was 2 moments in this that kind of like I was like, oh, that was brave to do. When you're like 45 minutes into the movie and you see the vampires for the first time with no warning. It was like, oh, this is a vampire movie. If like you didn't know, if you went in blind. Even
in the beginning, though, when he falls in off camera.
Yeah, very, very briefly. But you've forgotten about it by the time it was. By the time it got to that point in the movie, I forgot what kind of movie I was watching. I was like, oh, it's that movie.
Cow Country at that point.
Then when they did the music scene and it starts panning around and the dude from the 70s get up with the electric guitar pops in, like, what the fuck is happening here? And then it starts panning around and it has the African voodoo dancer and the DJ and all the 80s dancing.
They're showing that no matter what course of time that you were in, music has always been the root of everything. But you heard Delroy's character say it, like, the Christians use it one way, we use it one way. Music is music. It's just how you pretty much how you use it. So, because everything that happens in that juke joint ain't bad. Everything, and as you can agree, that happens in church is not good.
Oh yeah, well no, there's a band that I listen to called Quiet Company, and they have a song. They are like ex-Christians, and they have these anthems for atheists. And there's one lyric that they say something about like the 4 right chords, and I'd always play along like emotionally. And that's because you can go to church, or you can go to like a concert with nobody there that believes in God and really like have the same kind of spiritual feeling experience.
No, I agree with you on that. I just, again, with this film, like I said, is when you really look at it, I think you're gonna look at it from a different perspective and different layers, as you mentioned. That if you just look at it for the film that it is, I think you're going to be entertained. If you're looking at this to be the best vampire movie in the world, you're not going to be entertained. If you come from a Dawn of Dead, but more darker, I agree. Dusk Till Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
Dusk Till Dawn. But again, I really think that at the end of this, it's a time period piece with lore involved in it. And it did. Sometimes you leave them wanting more. And I'll agree with you. Well, I'll say this, not agree with you. I'll say my biggest problem with this entire film was only one thing, was that he let his brother live in the end. Like, I really had a hard time with a problem with that. I don't know why. I just really did.
I had a problem with that too, but I'll get to that in the things we want to change.
I thought I was doing a little layup here. He pulled out a whole subfolder that just expanded.
No, this is one of my favorite lines, and it was a part that made me laugh out loud. I was trying to figure out what led to it, but it was like one of the people were like talking about being scared about something, and he said, "Crackers at night will do that to you," and that's very true. Like, that's for some reason, it was just that was something that was weird to me when the more I got to know black people, is like the fear goes both ways.
So wait a minute, you mean in the movie or in life?
No, the movie they say that, but it
saying, like,
harkens to
how
a
you
real
felt in
life
life.
realization is that like that it's just so funny to me that white people are afraid of black people, but then to find out that black people are afraid of white people too.
I mean,
It's
you saw
just
the episode of Blackish when Dre or Anthony Anderson saw the white baby on the episode. He was like, "Nope." He just let the door, like he was about to walk on. The door opened. There was a white baby, and he's like, "What do I do here? Can I be a normal human and save this baby?" No, he looked. He thought about himself as a black man. He was like, he let the doors close, and so he got called to HR. And he was like, "Why'd you leave that baby on the thing?" And he was like, "I'm a black man. If I save that white," and then they had your boy come on from our show. The fucking Chris Hansen, they was like,
oh,
Dre
God.
Johnson, what are you doing here with this baby? Like,
Yeah,
so,
that's
but
true.
Then that's what I'm saying. Like the one thing again, like I was gonna ask you if you were gonna. I don't know if you talked about it in your notes or not, but I'm not gonna lie. The beginning and then there's two key scenes in the movie where they show it, and I think, and I'm not gonna say it was misleading. Maybe I just led onto it. You know, when you see these type of movies from Jordan Peele and from when you see these movies from Ryan Coogler or any great director that's into different stuff of Wes Anderson, if you will, you want to be the one to be like, okay, I latched onto this theory and follow it. And to me, from the trailer and from the movie, when I saw the broken guitar, at first I was like, okay, I need to follow that. And then as I'm watching the movie more and more, I'm like, okay, it really had nothing to do with that. But I really kind of do see it. The guitar was broken to say break the cycle, break the chain of the music, like really lead, like just because you dance to it don't make it right. Is that like I guess like that's really the really hidden message. And I'm not trying to overjump and foreshadow the episode, but it really dawned on me, like, why would he pay so much attention to this broken guitar head at the beginning of the movie and at the end of the movie? But even in the Easter egg credits at the end, still music still going. Music still going.
He was playing in the church too at the end.
Yeah.
That?
Yeah. So what do you think about that?
I didn't know. I mean, I knew going into it the music was a huge factor because I read about it.
Broken. You remember?
No, I didn't. I don't even remember the guitar being broken.
Yeah, they show it once. They show it at the very beginning and at the very end. Like when he leaves the church at the beginning, he's leaving. Like I don't know if he just killed somebody. There's blood on the guitar, but you only see. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then when he comes back home, he only has a piece of it because the old boy just killed somebody with it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that's what I was saying. Something happening there symbolic.
But then it was back together at the end.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, that's what I'm just saying in the Easter egg. So it's almost like it can't be destroyed or something. I don't know. That's what I was trying to say.
I don't know.
Maybe I
can't make a thought about it.
You go back and
probably means something, but we'll never know because Ryan Coogler went through a commentary.
Yeah.
The drool, what the fuck? I already addressed that, but
spitting in the mouth. I don't know anybody that's spitting in anybody's mouth.
Weird people, weird white people. It was so strange to me that it was happening to a black man, and he was allowing it to. Like he opened his mouth and willfully, like, yes, spit into my mouth. That's some whiteness. That's some.
He was
white
a
guy
young
shit.
boy that never had any sexual contact.
No,
He ate
this
dirty
was
pussy.
Smoke
He's
and
gonna
Stack. This was.
Oh yeah, that was right. It was Haley Steinfeld, man.
I don't care. I don't care who it is. Don't spit in my mouth.
Peter?
No, nobody's spitting in my mouth. I don't even drink a Coca-Cola after she sipped it. It tastes weird to me. If I'm very, very thirsty.
What if you're very, very thirsty?
The last note that I have about the scenes or anything is it did not escape me that it was the half white girl that initially let the vampires in, and then
the Asian chick.
It was the Asian girl that invited them in.
Correct.
So everybody here, but those particular kind of people are fucking things up.
They are.
Okay.
And
I'm just trying to see what the message is.
Finally, and that's why this movie was so great. It's not your typical racism here going on.
That's true. They brought the Asians in.
They played a part in this.
Yeah, and she was half white.
Well,
that's why she only half
like 1/8. I don't even know how much. I mean, I know how much that is.
Yeah, her dad was half, so she's 1/4.
No, she said 1/8.
Oh, okay. I don't fuck. It doesn't matter. She wasn't black.
23.
As they didn't accept her as one of Anyways, casting call: Michael B. Jordan as Smoke and Stack.
Michael B. Jordan as Stack and Smoke.
So who would you say would? I got two that I think could could have done as well or better job than Michael B. Jordan as those two characters.
If you ask me to remove myself from this, yes. What if I had? You want me to name 2 or 1?
Oh, you go, I go.
So 2 each or 1.
Whatever you got.
I can give you 2, like 2 other actor that could have did this. One person I say that could have done this is Lakeith Stanfield.
God damn you! You reading my notes?
No, I'm not.
Okay, well that was my first one, Lakeith Stanfield.
I think he definitely could have did it.
He looks like he could fit the era.
He does. You know, he's really good at it. Another person I think could have done it would have been Michael K. Sterling.
I could see that. I had Donald Glover for my second one.
Oh yeah, him too.
It was
Yeah.
purely for the "This Is America" video because he could have rocked that hair in it and fit the era well.
I could have seen it.
I did. What was I? Oh, okay. Scene stealers. Before we get into scene stealers, was Michael B. Jordan better at playing Smoke or Stack?
Smoke.
Remind me, is Smoke the one that lives or dies?
Smoke is the one that went over to the other side.
Okay. So you thought he was better at playing the baddie?
Yeah. Well, his name, I don't think he did bad at either one. I think they were both equally good, but as far as like, no, you know what? Now that you have me saying it, no. Stack.
The one who shoots the Klansman?
Yeah, but not because of that reason. Because he lets his brother live.
But the performance.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, the character arc. Like, I mean, yeah, he was a bad guy. Oh, he's bad now. Bad guy. Bad Michael. Michael's bad. Michael bad Jordan. Like, no, I mean, he did it. Yeah, I'm not knocking that. I saw it. But if you're asking me which performance demanded more and he lived up to more, it would be the one that, at the end of the day, that saw his brother die. That let his brother go. That listened to a vampire that told him coming with me at this point in life is better than what they're finna do to you tomorrow. That's a lot of weight. And he let all that go on those. That wasn't no normal, I'm finna kill some white people Klansmen today. That was my brother just got turned into a vampire. I just saw people I consider friend die. I'm one of the last ones left. I let him go. And now y'all coming to kill me. Y'all finna get all this anger. That's what I
thought Stack was a more challenging character because he was a little bit more grounded, but I think he was definitely better at Smoke just playing because Smoke had more of the Killmonger vibe to him.
Oh, definitely, 100%. When he came back in the end,
yeah, and I like Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger. So get a little glimpse of that was nice. Man. Yeah, I mean, as a white man.
I mean,
who I have an honorable mention and I have a scene stealer. My honorable mention is Delroy Lindo as Delta Slim.
How dare you?
Why? Is that your honorable mention? Or is that your scene stealer?
No, it could be either one, but go ahead. I want to hear why.
Well, mainly because y'all smell that? I think I shat myself.
Oh, he did say that. He did say that. He did
Who
say that.
asks if you know you shit yourself, why are you gonna ask like y'all smell that? Like something was cooking or something.
Yeah, something's brewing.
But no, I like him in what the fuck was it?
Five Bloods?
No, I haven't seen that one yet. Shit, of course, Gone in 60 Seconds. He was a detective that's hot on their trail. I liked him in that. Romeo Must Die, but Get Shorty was the character. He was just good, and it was nice to see him come back because I haven't seen him in a while, and I actually forgot about him. And he was just like, he was an equal parts comic relief, and he had a nice dramatic arc too. But who's your honorable mention?
You mentioned her name earlier. Was it Stack's girlfriend?
Annie. Okay.
Very powerful.
Yeah, she's got a crazy name. I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, but just she was so powerful.
Yeah, she was good. She got it on the first audition. The first when the first chemistry read that she did with Michael B. Jordan, they did that scene the first time they meet in her house. What an awkward first scene to do too. Like, hey, nice to meet you. Little cry. Let me cry in your bosom. All right, turn around. But that chemistry went so good that she got the part. Coogler gave her the part on the spot. Yeah, she was good.
All the way through. I mean, like I said, I think her performance was probably one of the most consistent through and through. And don't get me wrong, like, and again, in this movie, I gotta do 2 honorable mentions too, because again, the other was it Remick? Yeah, I'm gonna give him his credit due. Like again,
that's very big of you.
Not at all. That's what I feel.
as a human.
No. He did his thing, man. Because again, like it's like you're asking me to be a monster, but I'm not really the worst monster. But that's my thing out here. Plus,
Yeah.
I'm Irish.
Yeah, I'll give you
Like,
that. In the wrong hands, that could have been played up a little too much.
Well, keep it southern way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then you would have hated him, and you really. Yeah, it was good that you were torn on. Like, I might want to go with them. I give my scene stealer to Miles Catton, just because it being his film debut. I wouldn't, if I didn't know that he was like picked off the side of the street playing music for tips before he did this role. I would have never thought that. I would have thought that he had acted plenty of times before because he was very natural and authentic. He wasn't over the top, and he had to hold his own with Michael B. Jordan, who's had plenty of practice.
I think his rawness and his I want to use the right word here, his noviceness played into, as you mentioned earlier, the role allowed him to lean into that, and that's very good.
Mhm.
I'm glad they didn't ask him to do anything else because again, his character is meant to be, I think, in this film studied, not it should not like out there in the main light of it. But if you go back and look at it, he is the constant vessel that flows through this whole thing from the beginning to the end. Every storyline, Sammy's involved in somehow, and he's the one that controls the music. So when you look at it from that perspective, the character was never meant to be written to be stacking smoke. But without Sammy, just stacking smoke story by itself, you know what I'm saying? Like Sammy completes the whole story, if you will.
Is that your scene stealer too?
No.
Who's your scene stealer?
My scene stealer for me was, to be honest with you, I have to say, can't take it from Michael B. Man. You can't. You just can't.
How's that taste?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm fine with it. I mean, in order for him to have to play these two characters and two equal to the ones that I've done in the past, takes a lot of admiration, and I respect it from his perspective to know that this is, I mean, in all seriousness, no, he did a great job. I mean, I can't knock it. I wish he would have got more love for Just Mercy. Like, that's been buried as if he didn't do a great job in that. And then him being Michael on The Wire, like, I mean, his careers, you can't really count to any duds. Any duds people would say that he has is not really on him. So, the man's very consistent, and now he's playing two characters, which is not easy whatsoever. And for it all to really to be on you and Ryan Coogler, like, it's almost like one of those things like the director saying, hey, remember we joke about it when we watch Horrible Bosses, what the old boys say, hey, I found the perfect person for the VP. Me. I'm going to knock down this wall, and this is going to be, I'm only absorbing 85% of the other salary. Like, it's like Michael B's so good that he's like, I'm not finna cast anybody else. I'm just going to bump Michael B up a little bit, 25, 30%, and that's going to save the studio money. He's playing both characters. And that's why earlier today, when you were joking, well, I wasn't joking, and I was like, hey, I'll play old DK and current DK. I'll do it.
I bet you would.
And I kill it.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't let me, but it's fine. I'd write me in it because I believe in myself that much. And you got to believe, like, hey, give me a bone here, man. Cool believes in Jordan that much.
Jordan doesn't.
What?
No,
Jordan
we're not
raise
doing this right
a
now.
daughter that was just as
go.
good, if not better than him. Look, hey, where's his kid?
All right, Bucksgiven. What would we change? I got a few things I would change about this as a white man. Actually, I didn't really have much that I would change. I loved the beginning of the movie. The whole like leading up to the character development, the setting up the lore. I was into it.
You're offended when someone else says, "Oh, the beginning was good."
Look at me when you're talking to me.
I'm looking at her because I didn't want to look at you. You were offended when somebody else earlier said to The Devil Came to Duval, it started out good, but now you want to.
Okay, yeah, I'm a hypocrite. Sure.
Okay, thank you.
But in my defense, The Devil Came to Duval was good all the way through, and Sinners was really great in the beginning, and then it was so great in the beginning that I wish it would have stayed that. I wanted to see the brothers' dynamic.
Just like Black Panther.
I wanted this to be a Sopranos show all the way through, and you watch them I didn't want it all to take place in a day. I didn't want vampires to come and change the genre of the movie. I wanted to see Smoke and Stack their 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 war against the community, building things up and things getting broken down. I wanted it to be a series based on the first 45 minutes of the movie and forgetting the vampires. But I hour and 34 minutes in, the first when they find the dude in the puddle and they pull him out, I wrote, why not stake that dude? A few minutes later we figured out why, because they realized that the puddle was wine or something. It wasn't his blood, so he wasn't actually bit. They just pulled a normal human dude out there to be fed on. But still, they just grabbed all these stakes and armed up, and they said, we've got to stake them in the heart. So the first one that they see that really means nothing to them, just some random dude in there, they assume that he's bit, and they just drag him out to have to deal with the shit later? Why didn't they just stake the unconscious man right there? Oh, because it wouldn't work for the story. That to me was like a lazy writing moment. It's like, I need this to happen, so this is going to happen.
That they just did not know. The only ones telling them
no, the writers knew. That's my point.
Yeah,
the writers knew what was going to happen. So to set that moment up when he's outside, the characters had to act stupid, more stupid than I was led to believe up to that point than they actually are. So that's why I'm saying it's bad writing. The writers told me these are smart people, but then they did a very stupid thing to serve what the writers wanted to happen a few scenes later.
The writers told you that Annie was the smart person, and she was directed.
You're not hearing me.
Go for it.
The writers fucked up.
Or did they do it on purpose?
No, yeah, they did, and it was bad. It was lazy.
Or was it on purpose? What I'm saying is, if Annie's the one that's supposed to be knows the most about all, I didn't hear anybody other than Annie and Delroy's character talking about the lore. Out of everybody in this town, there was 2% or maybe 1% of this town that knew about extra curricular or terrestrial activities, X-Files type stuff, voodoo stuff going on. And so what I'm saying is, so if that's in the town, in this bar, you can best believe that only Annie is really the one, and maybe Delroy, that knows what's going on. So everybody else, you can't expect them to be like, oh, because this character said this is how we're going to act. So it should be a little flimsy still. If me and you rode around with a fucking serial killer and we didn't know.
Allegedly.
No, it happened.
I just that part, because from a writer's perspective,
I've talked he wasn't dead. Wasn't that beautiful?
But they should have staked him, and they didn't. If they were smart, they would have staked him, and they were smart, but they didn't stake him.
Why did they have to stake him if they took him outside? And what does he have to do to get back in? Ask permission.
Yeah, but why not just take care of it? That's one less vampire you have to deal with. I've said what I need to say. We can agree to disagree. I just think I've talked myself out of situations like that, writing a script where no, don't do that. That's just, you're doing this to serve this purpose, and it doesn't really fit the story.
What if their only last thing is this? I'm not going to talk you out of it, but what if their purpose is to say, hey, I know I've heard this, and I've said this a million times since I was a little black boy. I was like, hey, if I was in this position, this is how I would do it. And I'm going to tell you, there's been 99% meetings for years from black people like, hey, we would just pretend to be dead, and then we get the fuck up out of there. So maybe that was their moment to do that. And I know it's been said a million times. I've lived it. And that's what we would want to happen. Like, maybe he was like, so these motherfuckers go back inside, I'm going to get the fuck up out of here and go. But he never got to do that.
Well, growing up as a little white boy, I always appreciated when writers didn't insult their characters just to serve their own agenda in the story. That's all I'm saying.
But isn't the whole story your own agenda?
Yeah, but do right by your characters. When
maybe that's how they wrote that character in that scene.
This is redundant. I'm gonna move on. I would also
we got a Killmonger situation.
Why not turns when the Asian invited them all in? We're not supposed to say Asians?
I don't know any word to say other than that, so I think you're okay.
I don't know her name. She's the Asian woman.
Is Asian.
99% of the people don't know her name. They know her the Asian woman, the China lady.
See, man.
When she's a bad person. She invited them in. She invited them all in.
That was messed up that she did.
What bothered me about that, it was like a bloodbath. They're going after everybody, torn up here, torn up there, stake here, stake there. Smoke is crying over Annie just out in the open, and they literally run right past him to go back outside. Why are you going back outside? You've already been invited in. Why are you leaving now? You're all powerful vampires. You didn't touch the guy you want, Sammy, the brother, Stack, you didn't touch Smoke, who you want. What the fuck did you come in here for? Just to make a bloodbath scene and then
Yes.
run because it's not the finale yet. It's not the third act yet. Again,
Yes.
that was lazy writing to me.
That part can be debated. Yes.
It can't be debated. It's
I mean-
it's cut and dry. You ran or it was either I'll forgive it. Like on the day of the shoot, they should have been like, "Oh, this is kind of weird. Let's like shoot this a little bit differently." Or when after they shot it, the editor should have looked at it like, "This is kind of weird how he's running out of there. Let's just at least cut to a different angle or make it look like he's not running right by the dude that he should be wanting to get while
You know
he's
what
in
happened?
there."
They had already wrote the water scene after that. It was like, listen, we got to get him out and get to the
We've
water,
already
guys.
done
You know that's what
Yeah,
happened. Like,
just
hey, just
serve
have
him
them
on
run past
purpose.
him, man. And there's going to be so much action going on, they're not even going to see it. And then
That's why I was like, I was expecting. This was a great movie, but I was expecting perfection. Like I was
Based off the hype.
expecting, yes, yeah.
fair enough.
I was, and yeah, that's just. I went into it expecting like a religious experience of like, oh man, this has changed cinema. I get like why the hype was there, what Ryan Coogler did, and like how he changed things for all filmmakers going forward and the deals that they can get from companies. That's pretty incredible. But it's like it almost hurts the movie more than it helps it, in my opinion. I mean, it didn't hurt the box office numbers, that's for sure. But I don't know. I just expected a lot more. I think a lot of the things that I had gripes about, I would have not even been concerned with had I not went into the movie with as much hype as it had. I was like expecting amazing.
rightfully so. I can see that. I do think that hype overshined what it was. I wish there was no hype and people would have saw it and would have caught fire. I wish it happened that way. But at the same time, I think you're being fair because if people think you're being harsh on this, they should see how you feel about Scarlett Johansson and Bryan Cranston and the Phoenician Scheme.
Yeah.
See how I brought
Yeah,
that all the
see.
way back around? And
I got one more thing that I want, or one more gripe, and then I'll be done with. I'll get into the things that I liked. The ending, when my fucking, you got to stick the landing on the ending, and
I said that earlier, they didn't.
well, what bothers me is because I really like Stack and Smoke together. I want to see them. I want to see more of them. So my own personal investment, like I said, when Stack was at the door trying to convince Smoke to join them, I was like, man, just do it. You guys like ride or die together. You had all you need is right there. So just go be with him, and you can do this forever.
But they
Like,
don't ride or die. That's what you miss.
but what annoyed me is the fact that I was willing to accept their outcome until Stack walked into the club, dressed very cool, by the way.
Oh, at the end.
Yeah.
I
But
didn't like that.
he sat there and had a cordial conversation with Sammy where his one goal wasn't to turn him. It was just he was able to sit there and have a respectful conversation with him and not. Why couldn't he have done that with his brother?
His brother's dead. He didn't
Yeah,
turn.
but when they introduced the vampires, it was like there's no having a conversation with these guys. Their only thing that their main objective is to turn you.
I said that. I said that they were mindless beasts and that was their only thing. But somebody brought this out that maybe because they were twins, it was different for them. Twins share a different bond. So that's not lazy writing. That's always been said that twins share something different. And not only did the twins share something different, they shared something with that was their family and him.
Yeah, I don't have a problem that Smoke didn't kill Stack. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem that Smoke couldn't be as cordial to Stack as he was to Sammy. They introduced the vampires as they are only there to turn. They're only there to kill and turn. And you can't have a relationship with them. Like, because if they would have introduced them the way Stack came in at the end with Sammy, then I bet Smoke would have been like, well, shit, you don't have to turn me. And you could be like you are, and we could just hang
I'm not
out.
gonna lie, that was my biggest gripe, and people convinced me out of it. But I still circle back to the feeling how you felt. That not to say that they were mindless beasts. I was explaining it the wrong way. Like you just say, they were only meant to like the head guy was in control. So it was like, hey, listen, once I turn you, it's all about turning. There ain't no stroking, no deals.
Mhm.
Either you kill me or I turn you. Those are the odds that have been put on the table. But then y'all take it off and say, He told him, I can give you 75 years. Well, apparently you gave him more because you still walked back out of there after the 75 years.
I can give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he's in that time span from when maybe he was a young vampire. He was just hungry and bloodthirsty, and it was in the heat of the night. And maybe after like decades, he evolved and was he was able to control his urges or whatever. I can give him the benefit of that. It just bothered me because I was like, I just
You
want.
still with Haley Steinfeld.
I do have one more gripe. I lied. I have one more, and it's the fact that Stack. I wanted more of Stack as a vampire. I didn't like the fact that he almost became a glorified extra once he became a vampire and went outside. It was all about Remick, and it was more so on him.
For the story arc to end with him coming in at the end, you got to pay that off earlier in the movie.
Yeah, like once he was outside, I kept like, where the fuck is Michael B. Jordan out there? Where's Stack? You barely ever saw him once he was out there. Because what happened was he was like, I'm tired of playing two characters. Once I go outside and join the vampires,
I'm just this character.
I'm gonna be him in here.
Right, but at the same time, you can't do that because they've been synonymous the whole movie together.
Yeah, I wanted to see. Yeah, they lost the balance once he became a vampire, and I was excited to see him as a vampire. That was like one of the shots in the trailer that.
What would have been crazy is if he didn't let his brother get away. Now I'm just throwing this. I'm not hate to do this because people are like, write your own damn movie. I have, but it would have been crazy. Like now, the way to pay that off, if to answer your question, to fix that would have been in the end that character comes through, the Michael B. Jordan character comes through with Haley Steinfeld, and he's like, he convinced me to give you 75 years, and then like, okay, that's it. But he can be like, but Stack will never go for that. We either all in it or we not in. Michael B. Jordan character comes, the other one comes in like he let his brother turn him for them to live on, but they don't show that on screen.
Yeah,
that was the only way to do it. See, because now that makes sense. That was the only way that old boy could live for 75 years if he was like, he can't just trust his brother to say he's not gonna do because he's really just meant to turn.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm there to watch you, you're not gonna do it while I'm alive, and you're not gonna kill me. So that's how I protect Sammy. See what I'm saying? Now, if I do it that way, then boom. Sorry, Ryan. I still love your movies.
I love the cinematography by Autumn Archipel. The especially the shots when they're driving and it's gonna sound terrible, but like the sweeping shots of the cotton fields was crazy looking.
No, you get to say that now. We were in the cotton field together.
And they were really heavy on the bokeh, which I usually hate, but I don't know. It just looked, the way it was shot was really, really pretty. Especially considering that like they had to put Michael B. Jordan in the scenes. It was like I didn't feel like I was ever watching any kind of shots with special effects.
No, all in all, I don't think anybody can question the cinematography in this. And again, shout out to this being, which is so hard to do nowadays, a time era piece. For it to be something that was shot in a time like from the cars to the clothes to them.
I feel like a few times though, Michael B. Jordan would get a little loose with the dialogue and say lines that I don't think any does. Like the first one was "For Us, By Us." Like, oh, that's
no, that was put in there on purpose.
Yeah, and then well, that was like literally Ryan Coogler's deal with Warner Brothers with this movie. But yeah, there's a few lines that he kind of. I love the first 45 minutes. Like I said, the first 45 minutes of the movie were great. I liked that they, as much as I wish it would have stayed the movie that it was in the first 45 minutes, I thought it was a really interesting turn to like wait that long to show. I mean, From Dusk Till Dawn kind of did the same thing. You thought you were watching an action, an action film, and then it's like a heist, kidnapping,
and went right into
there's vampires.
Not Wes Anderson, Wes Craven.
You're just as surprised as the main characters are that you're in a bar of vampires. But it was cool to see it happen in this movie, and then when they did the twist with the music, I thought that was really interesting. It was compelling. Like I just wish they would have maybe had it take place in more than one day and fleshed out the characters, like the brothers' relationship with the people in the town, and make that a little bit more.
But thus the From Dusk Till Dawn reference.
Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah. I mean, I wish I was watching a different movie sometimes that was just based on the first 45 minutes.
All in all, if I had to go into our fucks given for this for 1 through 5, I'm not gonna lie, I give this a strong 4. Strong 4 for me.
I give it a 3.5. I would watch it again. Uh, I
We
the only
watch it from the racist KKK version perspective.
I
It's a
don't
totally different
what would I watch it from the racist KKK
I'm not
version
asking you to
perspective?
be that. Man. Watch it from.
Hold on,
that
let me
big-
see if I can. What are you doing in my house?
Allah turn to season 2 of TTFT, the Django Unchained episode. He'll do a hell of an impression.
Whoa, Steven. Let's keep it funny here. Django's a freeman.
But no, I'm watching it from the perspective of the biggest monsters are the people who sold them the house that was coming out the juke joint that called and killed them the very next morning.
No, I saw it from when he, like I said, when he went balls to the wall on them with all the weapons. I was like, oh, okay, these are the monsters of the movie.
Correct.
And you kind of got that in the beginning too, and you just kind of, oh, the Klan's been gone. Like,
No,
that's not true coming from the future.
There you go.
So yeah, I give it a 3.5 because I would watch it again. I would probably give Dusk Till Dawn a 3 or a 3.5. Just vampires and supernatural stuff like that. It was jarring to have that. It's almost like if I'm gonna watch a horror movie, I'm gonna watch a horror movie, and just I know
If
that's
it's
what I'm
not
getting.
that, to her
I don't
point,
want to be
to
sold the drama. Like I'm too invested in the drama
To the
now to
trailer-
switch gears here.
The trailer, I 100% agree, was sold as a vampire lore type movie.
Yeah,
And that's what I thought we were watching, but I was not disappointed in the end. So
I wasn't disappointed either. I would have been less disappointed without the hype.
Ah.
But 3.5 strong. So a surprise here. I forgot to tell you this. I picked the next movie. You could pick the movie after that. Because we're kind of doing a,
Back and
I
forth
started
thing.
with, you me.
you suggested Sinners too, though.
For you.
We're back,
I
baby.
paid $19.99 to watch this. I gave
Oh, you
Ryan,
paid for this, huh?
yeah, not nearly as much as Mika is giving him, but I've paid some
What does that mean?
as a white man.
All right.
The next movie I want to do, which we'll do 2 weeks from whenever this releases, it's on Netflix. You can watch it for no cost. It's Charlie Kaufman's I'm Thinking of Ending Things. It is a mind fuck metaphoric dive into personality disorders. It will fuck you up. I know you don't have your next movie lined up yet.
How you know that?
Oh, do you?
No.
Okay. I already, this is kind of for both of us.
Keep saying that.
Well, it's my next pick after yours. It just happens to line up with the release date. Happy Gilmore 2 is going to be hitting Netflix.
Not
I
against
know
that.
you don't like sequels.
No, I'm not against that one. That's wacky enough. It's
Yeah.
not really a sequel. It's just another episode.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
So that whenever that releases, I'm Thinking of Ending Things on the next episode. Episode after that will be Whatever You Want. Then we'll do Wedding. God damn it.
Not Wedding
Pixels.
Crashers.
Happy Gilmore 1. I figure we do Happy Gilmore 1 and 2, like we do with Coming to America.
I'll get back to you guys since he has half the season planned out. But
Yep.
other than that, hey guys.
Oh. And one of our Thursdays, I like going every 2 weeks. This is big. One of our Thursdays is on 9/11. Don't forget. So we got to do something special for that episode. Something explosive. Something that'll bring the house down.
I'm mad that we already did Die Hard. Building goes down in flames. Nakatomi building.
Yeah.
2 buildings going down at once. Why, oh shit! Why not just we haven't done a documentary?
Yeah, we
did.
did. Yeah, we did.
No, oh yeah, we did. Well, that was.
We did 2 actually.
But let's do that. Let's do that one. The it wasn't supersized. It was
Oh, Fahrenheit 9/11.
yeah. Let's do.
I'll
that.
get into that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
on that
there
note,
goes the council.
see you next time.
Or maybe we won't.
You got popcorn on your lip.
I'm a human torpedo, blasting through walls. No script, no filter, I'm wrecking these halls. He's a smooth operator with a sharp tongue. Together we're trouble like a loaded gun. That's the fucking trailer. Hold on tight. Breaking movies in black and white. One's got notes, the other's a riot. Striking folks, we won't be quiet. We joke about skin, we laugh about shame. No one's safe in the jokes we've made. It's absurd, a time to offend, but jokes we've made. It tastes absurd, a time to offend, but all your fun, no need to pretend.